And welcome back to Who Would Win, the week of Who Would Win from Michael Myers himself. We have the question of who wins in a fight, the Crow versus the Creeper. And when it comes down to this fight, it's very much a battle of attrition. In one corner, you have weighing in at I have no idea what the Creeper actually weighs at. His body probably changes every once in a while based on his regenerative factor and who he's. We know his head changes because he can literally just put a head on and just grow it off his body. His body has been able to reconstitute itself. So I have no idea what this thing weighs. But he's a pretty large guy, somewhere in the low to mid 6 foot range, pretty beefy, and I mean that in a muscular way. While we to date still don't completely know the origins of the Creeper, it is more or less confirmed, not even confirmed, it's more or less heavily implied that he's some sort of demonic entity. He's existed since like the Aztecs and beyond. He was worshipped as Quetzalcoatl, for God's sake. And every 23 years for 23 days, he wakes up and feeds. He is a carnivore that eats people. You know what? I've never thought about it, but you think the Creeper can eat anything else? I mean, he just likes eating people. I mean, people are specifically what he uses to regenerate, but hypothetically, could he just, like, if he ate a deer, if he wanted to replace his eyes and ate a deer, could he get, like, deer eyes? Could he, like, just take the deer liver or deer heart if he needed any of those that were going bad? I don't know. I'm guessing he only eats people because that's how he functions, but anyway, he's exceptionally intelligent, able to actually blend in, at least from a distance in society, driving that messed up truck that's a death sentence in and of itself. He has wings capable of flight. He has talons capable of grabbing. He's capable of basically just manhandling a human on his own without any difficulty. He wields a numerous amount of weapons, including, I don't think we've seen spears, but throwing stars, battle axes, knives, all of which seems to be enchanted with ruins. More than likely what those enchantments do is they help hone in on the target, particularly that shuriken. It helps. Now, that being said, you can still avoid the shuriken, but it's not easy to do so. Beyond that, though, the Creeper he's not invulnerable. I think people mistake durability and endurance. He can still be injured. In fact, he can be injured very badly. But it's near impossible to kill him. He's functionally immortal while he's awake. At least for the most part, because he has been run over, decapitated, blown up, and yet he still was alive. The only thing that we can theorize would kill him is if you destroy the little grabber on there, the little fin face hugger looking grabber cowl on the back of his neck. That's the only thing theoretically that might actually kill him for good. Because in every instance that thing was still intact. He even got stabbed through the head in the second one, and it didn't kill him. So you'd have to basically completely incinerate his body, assuming that the cowl is not the thing that kills him, or is not the thing that you need to damage in order to kill him. But see, again, the impression seems to be if you can destroy that would actually kill him. That seems to be the essence of the Creeper. He can also regenerate by eating organs, and yeah, he is just a beast. The Crow, I actually can't remember the name of the Crow, like his original name. Hold on, the Crow. The Crow is peak early 80s, late 80s, early 90s. No, I believe the Crow. Hold on, the Crow was peak mid 90s Edge. Starring the late Brandon Lee, who famously died on set. Okay, that's right. Eric Draven. He was a musician who, after his girlfriend and him were attacked, his girlfriend, I think, was like raped and abused and murdered. Both were essentially murdered by this band of just psychos. He was resurrected essentially as a spirit of vengeance to seek vengeance. As such, he's as intelligent as Eric was, and that is surprisingly intelligent. He's not a genius or anything, but he knows how to find people. And I think it's part of the spiritual, his undead spirit remnant powers is he can locate evil. But his level of power, the types of powers he actually has, um, it's kind of varied a little bit. Like it's never truly like he has a crow that's familiar where he can see things through the eyes of it. Um, Hold on, Eric Draven. I'm gonna just get his full list of powers up here right now. It's been a little while since I did one on the crow. Eric Draven. All right. There we go. Eric Draven. Yeah, but it's been a little while since I've done the crow, so he actually has quite a few abilities. Let's see here. Reborn, he does not need to eat or sleep. He's incapable of feeling pain as well. He also has supernatural strength and endurance. Probably not to the same level as the Creeper does, but he has that. He can see through the eyes of a crow, and he has inhuman reflexes. And of course, the famous thing is he just can't die. He's invulnerable to harm. Literally in the original Crow, this healing factor is still impressive in the remake, but it seems to act slower. The first one, literally, he gets a bullet through his hand and just heals right up. This guy is literally insane. He also has the ability to heal others when he basically drained the morphine out of a person's veins. His powers are tied to the crow avatar that watches over him while he enacts his vengeance. His powers are also subside if the crow is destroyed, which is actually very key for this. There seems to be a limit to his healing factor in the original comic, at least. He slits his own wrists in a fit of despair. The wounds inflicted upon him would not heal, so he wrapped up his arms with electrical tape. Interesting. So any self-inflicted wound wouldn't heal. Not that it would matter for this. He has tactile telepathy and empathy, which could also be problematic for him in this fight, because him touching the creeper would be very bad. He's able to read off of objects and people making physical contact of them. And in the TV show, he had the ability to change his face to his painted form, which means nothing in this fight. So the question now becomes, who wins in this fight? The creeper would not be in the city. That's not how the creeper would fight. The creeper is trying to also, despite how dangerous the creeper is, he's also trying to maintain like a low presence, so he's not attracting too much attention, so he can just not be bothered by people. But in a hypothetical where the crow has been lured into the area that the creeper is, feeding, and he comes across him, it's attacking him, and he just comes in, maybe starts shooting him to get his attention. The fight begins. Should note that the creeper's durability is impressive, but it also varies. There have been times where he has been shot and just kind of goes down, then gets back up. But like with a shotgun, but then there's been times in the thing, it was the third movie, where he literally got shot with a gat and he just like it didn't even hurt him. He barely felt it. So his tolerance for bullets is very inconsistent. But it seems they've leaned more towards the bullets don't bother him that much level of durability and pain tolerance. So, yeah, okay. So, right out the gate, like I said, this is really just a battle of attrition. Because, frankly, neither of these guys has anything to put the other down with. The creeper has more weaponry, and he'd be able to just chop into Eric. But Eric can just get right back up. And Eric, if he just gets like a 2x4, going to boom, hit him in the head. But that's not going to be enough to put him down. So these guys are really just going to be duking it out essentially until the end of time. Or until the time limit finally kicks in for one of them. See, the Crow, as far as I can tell, it doesn't need to be night for him to be the Crow. He is just the Crow when he throughout the original movie. But the Creeper does have a time limit. Even if we're being generous and giving him the very beginning of this feeding cycle, as long as the fight's going on and he's keeping the Creeper fighting him and the Creeper is not allowed to eat, the Creeper actually will start to weaken. That's the thing. Parts are going to start to go bad. He's not going to get the opportunity to try to regenerate because Eric's not going to let him. He's got pretty much infinite stamina and endurance and just regenerative capabilities just to annoy him. He's also got superhuman strength and ability. Again, I don't think quite to the level of the Creeper, but enough that he could probably go a mano with him for a while. And then outsmart him, maybe try to tie him down for a bit if he can. So that's problematic for the Creeper. If neither of these guys have a way to put the other down, it's going to be the one who's got the better regeneration that's going to just be, and who doesn't have a time limit of how long they can be out, who's going to win. But there are two things that don't work in Eric's favor. One is the tactile telepathy, empathy, and reading people. Doing that on the Creeper would be a very big no-no. The amount of stuff he would not want to see coming off that thing. Oh no! The amount of just anger, vitriol, and just demonic rage, just inhumanness, even for someone like the Crow, that would be a bad no-no. And I think that when they get in close with each other, kind of struggle, he would be like, no, so much, too much. He might even have to, back off and be like, I got to reassess this fight. Beyond that, though, would his healing ability to be able to heal other people be able to do anything to the Creeper? My answer would probably be no. Because, and I say that because there are characters that are either undead or dead or deal with the non-living, their bodies somehow not living, that healing them up could actually be a way to stop them, but I don't think the Creeper is one of them. The other issue is the Crow itself, his avatar. If the Creeper at any point figures out that Crow is his avatar, it's connected to him, he kills that thing, that's where Eric loses the fight, straight out. Most of his power's gone. There's no way he'd be able to ultimately win the fight anymore. However, this does, I don't think Eric would let his Crow get in harm's way against something like this. He'd let the Crow watch from a vantage point that it was safe. The only outlier here is the fact that we do know the Creeper's weapons are mystically enchanted. So the question would become, is that an enchantment that could actually hurt Eric beyond a normal weapon? Unfortunately, we just have no evidence to suggest that's the case from these weapons. If they expanded the lore more and showed that, oh yeah, this cut won't hold, if say you cut someone with it, they get away, but it's this cut won't stop bleeding, man. It won't stop bleeding. We see the glowing symbol on the blade or whatever from the Creeper. It's like a blade that just, you're always going to bleed from it. That could be, that'd be a change up in this, wouldn't it? It would be a change up a little bit, because now Eric is constantly injured. But the fact is, there's no evidence for that. So even though Eric might be in trouble if he touches the Creeper in a way that lets him read his mind, if he's just fighting him, he could just draw the fight out long enough to weaken the Creeper and then eventually keep him tied down or whatever, and then just wait him out until he eventually has to go back into hibernation. But yeah, he's got the regenerative capability. Neither of these guys have a real way of killing the other, but he's got the better hacks in a battle of attrition, in my opinion. So on that front, I'm going to take Eric Draven, the Crow. But this is just my opinion. Let me know what you think. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and I'll see you for the next one. Later.